Good morning, and a warm welcome to all of you to the second edition of the eWorld Forum, Governance in the Information Age. The event today focuses on the initiatives of the central and the state government in bringing a digitally inclusive society. It is my pleasure and honor to welcome all distinguished dignitaries on the dais. May I please invite Shri J. Satyanarayana ji, Secretary, Department of Electronics and IT, Ministry of Communications and IT, Government of India, on the dais, sir, please. Dr. Sudhir Krishna ji, Secretary, Ministry of Urban Development, Government of India. Shri N. Ravi Shankar ji, Administrator, USOF, Department of Telecom, Government of India. Shri Som Mittal ji, President, NASCOM. Ms. Kathleen Wiesen, Country Head, UNDP India. Dr. M.P. Narayanan, President, ELITS and CSTMS. And Dr. Ravi Gupta, Editor-in-Chief, eGov Magazine. May I request Dr. M.P. Narayanan to hand over a bouquet to all our distinguished guests. Dr. M.P. Narayanan, sir. Shri J. Satyanarayana ji.
I start from one side.
Shri J. Satyanarayana ji. Dr. Sudhir Krishna ji. Shri N. Ravi Shankar ji. Shri Som Mittal ji. And Ms. Kathleen Wiesen. May I invite all dignitaries on the dais and Dr. M.P. Narayanan to proceed for the lamp lighting, sir.
You must be familiar with this.
Gayatri. Gayatri.
Thank you, sir. May I invite Dr. M.P. Narayanan to give the welcome address.
Good morning, everybody. At the outset, a very hearty and indeed a warm welcome with 44, 45 degrees Celsius outside. The welcome has to be a warm one, not distinguished dignitaries on the dais, Mr. Satyanarayana, Secretary, Ministry of Communication and IT, Government of India, Dr. Sudhir Krishna, Secretary, Ministry of Urban Development, Government of India. My friend Shankarwal is about to join. He has not come as yet. And Mr. Ravi Shankar, Administrator USO, Department of Telecom, and Mrs. Wiesen, Country Head UNDP, India. Distinguished delegates to this second eWorld 2012 forum. This is the second one, as my colleague has already mentioned it. And we are at the threshold of e-governance, and we at the ELETS and CSDMS have chronicled the journey through the beginning. Last year we laid the foundation of this platform with an idea of discussing the challenges, best practices, and next practice governance, and vice versa. Decentralization, transparency, accountability, etc. There has been breathtaking development in ICT all over. We have said that we have had our own events organized in this part of the world, in Bangladesh, in Sri Lanka, in Malaysia, in Thailand, etc. We have done that. And we find that there is a need for sharing the information and knowledge. This is one of the primary purpose of this conference. We do have a lot of representatives from other countries also, and I would take this opportunity to extend a hearty welcome to them. The 7 years back, I go nostalgic. We started the CSDMS and ELETS, and we thought of crafting a platform for discussing and creating excellence, being stakeholders and the government for reform with ICT. We have, with this vision, created a platform in the form of a magazine, all of you are aware, in the form of a portal, again most of you are aware of it, and holding events not only in India but elsewhere in the world also. eWorld Forum is an exchange of ideas for India to learn from the rest of the world and at the same time share its own successes and experience as a benchmark to the global audience. With this background, I firmly hope that in this conference, with the eminent and knowledgeable luminaries present here at the inaugural session, you will come to really some effective and meaningful conclusions, recommendations, etc. With this, my limited duty of again extending a very hearty and warm welcome to all the dignitaries on the dais, to all the distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. May I now request my colleague Ishwinder Singh to please come on the dais and give the introductory address.
Very good morning to all our dignitaries and distinguished guests. We welcome you at eWorld Forum. The eWorld Forum is a global summit on governance in the information age. It majorly focuses on initiatives and efforts of central and state government in bringing a digitally inclusive society. It engages leaders and opinion makers from across the government, industry, and academia. It also recognizes excellence in adopting technology to governance. It consists of majorly three segments: conference, expo, and awards. The thematic sessions at eWorld Forum includes e-governance, now and the future, enabling e-gov, e-services delivery, cyber security, public safety and disaster management, enabling e-gov, opportunities and challenges, e-politics, virtualization and cloud for government sector, proactively open government, rural connectivity, mobile innovations and financial inclusion, and ICT for inclusive growth. We have eWorld Awards. We received around 82 nominations in 13 categories, and we have 30 award winners through jury and public choice evaluation process. We received around 70,000 votes in public choice voting. Majorly, ELET's work in promoting the use of ICT in governance, healthcare, and education through events, magazines, knowledge portals, projects, and directories. eGov is Asia's first monthly on e-governance. It was founded in 2005. It focuses on the use of ICT in governance. Now, its online reach is to 5,69,850 stakeholders. eHealth, again, Asia's first monthly on ICT magazine on ICT applications in healthcare. It focuses on modern ICT application. Its online reach is 2,57,935 stakeholders. The Digital Learning Magazine, which aims to promote and aid the use of ICT in education. It focuses on current trends, perspectives, research, discussions, and initiatives in the field of ICT and education. Its online reach is 4,58,439 stakeholders. Our flagship event includes eIndia. It is the 8th edition of it is going to held at KTPO Trade Center, Bengaluru, on 7 to 9th November 2012. It is India's largest ICT event. It includes parallel conference tracks on eGov, digital learning, and eHealth. We have World Education Summit on 23rd and 24th July at same venue. It is the world's premier platform on education thought leadership. It is being jointly organized by AICT, CSDMS, and ELETS. We have Secure IT. It is India's premier conference on the use of ICT in public safety, security, and disaster management. We have Smart City. It addresses issues including building smart and sustainable cities. We have Healthcare Leaders Forum. It is a pulsating platform for CXOs of healthcare industry to connect with each other. We have portals, majorly eGov, eHealth, and digital learning. We have around 7,500 plus articles, interviews, and news items in eGov, 5,000 plus in eHealth, and 6,500 plus in digital learning. So I would welcome you all at eWorld Forum and would like to say let the fun begin of this learning and learning from the world and implementing it in our country.
Many thanks, Ishwinder. It is my pleasure to now invite Dr. Sudhir Krishna ji, Secretary, Ministry of Urban Development, Government of India, on the dais. Sir, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My dear friend and colleague, Shri Satyanarayana, Secretary IT, Mr. Ravi Shankar, and other dignitaries on the dais. And in fact, in such events... No, that's okay. Thank you. I think I am able to communicate. So.
For me, with my height, it was quite okay.
Thank you. So, in such events, my desire and wish is to listen. But as things are, I will have to leave at 10:30, and I would look forward to getting the summary of the deliberations and recommendations from Ravi in course of time. I can share with you that I represent the Ministry of Urban Development, and therefore I would have the privilege of conveying to you the significance of urbanization. And we have traditionally been saying that the India lives in villages, and we have been very proud of it. But probably I think the pride was has not been based on rational analysis, except that rural areas provide us food for our consumption and for food security. These are very important. But probably that has to be analyzed more deeply, that the productivity in rural areas is not very high. And one of the reasons is that the land holdings are coming down, and owing to population pressure in the rural areas. The land holdings, which used to be of the order of 3 hectares in the year 1971, over 40 years have come down to 1 hectare or lower. So with that kind of abysmal holdings, the farmers cannot invest what is required to get the best from the land. And therefore, we are not getting the best returns from the rural area, of which we ought to be proud of and take care. So the moral of the story is that rural areas must be less populated. It is not our argument that overall country's population is high. The distribution of population is lopsided. People should migrate to urban areas, and rural areas should allow people to have the larger holdings of the order of 10 hectares. 25 acres of good cultivable land will give the farmer the strength to invest in the land and give the best output, optimal output. Of course, one should argue for a still higher holding, but then we have to see the reality also. So the urban areas must be the canvas for writing the growth story of the country. The urban areas must be the platform, must be the arena where economic activities take place and are nurtured. Much more industrialization, much more business and commercial activities should come, and these cannot be spread throughout every square kilometer of country. They have to be in concentrated areas. We are not arguing for megapolis culture. We are not recommending that we should have only 10 big cities, megapolis cities like Calcutta, Bombay, Bangalore, Madras and Hyderabad and so on. There should be smaller cities of reasonable size, say 5 lakh to 10 lakh population. We should attract people from rural areas for good livelihood, allowing rural area people to have also decent livelihood. And for that, the urban areas must have good platform of spatial development, proper planning and infrastructure. All that will be, we are working on that. We are working very seriously with the urban transportation, public transportation network, and you are hearing more and more of metro rail network expanding. We are hearing more of the bus networks. We are supporting for the first time in the country, the buses were recognized as a worthwhile public infrastructure where Government of India should also intervene. Otherwise, never in the history the Government of India provided any financial intervention for the bus sector. And then since 3 years we are into it, and you find the JNNURM logo, modern buses, which have made life much more convenient for people. In fact, mass urban transport is very good for women particularly. For them it is far more convenient to travel in public transport if it is convenient and safe. We have also realized that to get best return out of investment in public transport system, the ITS has to come, the integrated transport systems, the modern infrastructure of IT-based transport system, management systems. They are proving to be a great boon. Originally, these were only tried in metro rail network for managing the metro rail movement and management. Now we have tried in BRTS also. Cities like Bangalore, Ahmedabad, Hyderabad, they are trying for bus movement also, the ITS, and to good success. These are proving to be financially viable also. What you invest, you get back in a couple of years by way of better returns from the better management. We also are focusing on improvement of e-governance in the municipalities. Through our Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission, we have capacity building component. But the paradigm is that it is left to the states and municipalities to develop their architecture. We have not mooted so far. We had not mooted a national architecture for software application and information paradigm of gathering information from municipalities, because on the ground that it is all local subjects, decentralized environment is there. But now we are working on a national architecture of applications where basic is because when a national level plan has to be prepared or information by the Finance Commission or by Planning Commission or sectoral ministries, if they require information and they find that it is not available easily, though it is available in scattered form, standalone basis. So we are working on that. Meanwhile, we are nurturing the local applications. We are providing adequate funds to the municipal bodies. In fact, there is financial resources are not real issue. Maybe the management is somewhat has to be improved on the capacities of municipalities, hand-holding. So we are looking forward to support and assistance from the Ministry of IT and also from all the participants here. Your advice and support would be most welcome. We would like to see that all the municipalities have good transparent and efficient management structure for which, and inclusive also. Because as you have seen in the initial presentation, that IT means it brings in great, which was not probably the intention. Efficiency was the intention, transparency was the inclusiveness is another big fallout of the IT e-governance. You can access, anybody can access without, you don't require any special ID or password, just it is in public domain, anybody can access. So all these benefits we want to harness for good urban governance, and the deliberations of today's workshop should give us, our ministry, ideas, and I look forward to it. I am sure these I will listen to Mr. Satyanarayana and other colleagues also for half hour and benefit as much as I can, and then rest I will look forward to feedback from Ravi and his team. So once again, thank you the organizers and good wishes to all the participants. Thank you.
Many thanks, sir. We congratulate you on the ICT initiatives of the Ministry of Urban Development, especially integration of IT-based transport systems and e-governance in municipalities. It is my pleasure to now invite Shri N. Ravi Shankar ji, Administrator, USOF, Department of Telecom, Government of India, for his address. Sir, please.
Very good morning to all of you. Distinguished panelists on the dais, Shri Satyanarayana ji, Shri Sudhir Krishna ji, Ms. Nielsen, Mr. Som Mittal, Mr. MP Narayan, and ladies and gentlemen. The tone was set for the morning by Mr. Sudhir Krishna, who mentioned about smart cities and the e-applications that are going on in the realm of the Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission. I would like to focus a little away from the urban areas because there is a digital divide in our country. And the digital divide says, for a smart nation, you just will not be able to do with smart cities. You need to also have smart villages. So my task as the administrator USOF is to bridge the digital divide by laying out the infrastructure of incremental optical fiber from blocks to Gram Panchayat. For those of you who are congregated here, I'd like to mention that India is divided into several administrative units, states or union territories, districts as the basic unit of functioning in a state. Beneath that you have what are known as developmental blocks, which are agglomeration of what are called Gram Panchayat. And Gram Panchayat typically can be a composite ranging from 1 to 3 to 4 villages. We have about 600,000 villages in the country and 250,000 Gram Panchayats. Blocks are about 6,500 and districts are 625. We intend to take incremental optical fiber from the block to the Gram Panchayat in order that 250,000 Gram Panchayat and thereby the entire 3 to 400 million population who are residing in the very far-flung areas of our country do have the benefit of the e-infrastructure. Optical fiber links are very crucial to administering e-solutions, whether it's e-governance, e-learning, telemedicine, e-commerce. I think it's important that we have good and robust infrastructure. The entire canopy of laying out this optical fiber link has been thought about by the Government of India and the Department of Telecom. The USOF would fund this project, and we would ensure that a special purpose vehicle for this purpose, namely the Bharat Broadband Network Limited, would manage the assets so created. At the tail end, we would have non-discriminatory access to all categories of service providers, be they telecom service providers, ISPs, or the digital service providers in the form of cable operators, so that all e-services are available in the rural areas. It would be combinatorial. It could be majority broadband wireless, and of course, wire optical fiber links to the villages and habitations would come at a second phase of the National Optical Fiber Network. I would like to think that this entire e-infrastructure called the National Optical Fiber Network would be the road or the highway on which several e-applications, including your national e-governance program, etc., could be driven upon. I think we need to focus on several of the government schemes that are going on. The Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, which is elementary education as a fundamental right to all children, the National Rural Health Mission, the Skills Development Mission, National E-Governance Programs, e-Panchayat related activities, and also any of the other activities like monitoring of schemes, the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Program, or any other public distribution activity. All of this can utilize the common infrastructure called the National Optical Fiber Network. I would think eWorld would mean encompassing all activities, irrespective of space, whether it's a village or a city, whether it's e-learning or e-governance. I think all applications should go there. Bridging the digital divide is very essential to see that a e-world definitely springs up. I would like to felicitate the organizers of this function. I'm sure the panels have a lot of experience and would be able to share their experience. NASCOM, which is in the whole process of trying to take not just software to export outside, but I think once the e-infrastructure of National Optical Fiber Network comes in, we would be able to grow in depth for induction of IT in the country. We'll have to see that there is local content, there is multiple language usage, and all of these technologies can permeate to the mass. Thank you very much.
Many thanks, sir. As you very rightly mentioned, bridging the digital divide is important, and it is also important to not only have smart cities, but also smart villages. May I now request Mr. Som Mittal, President NASCOM, to please come on the dais.
Good morning, friends, my colleagues on the dais. Thank you, Mr. Ravi Shankar, for kicking off the issues that you spoke about, how to take E to the village level. It's really heartening at this point to see the increasing focus that the government has on using and committing itself to using technology in everything that they do. And it's no surprise that in the last three, and I've been observing this, the last three budget speeches that Mr. Pranab Mukherjee made, at least there were 4 or 5 mentions each time about how technology is going to be used in ensuring that we have better governance and we are able to reach our schemes to every citizen in this country. And it is only right that today we have come to a stage, people could talk about this country has been free for 60 years. I think today is the right time because infrastructure, the kind that Mr. Ravi Shankar mentioned, is getting built, and this is the time that we can actually make it happen. The proof also is in the fact that the Prime Minister himself leads the e-governance mission, and in fact is very actively engaged in terms of providing guidelines to us. So the proof is that it's not only in discussions in the conferences, but things are happening right now in the country. Many initiatives that have got started today, including the one that Mr. Ravi Shankar spoke about, the UID project, the electronic service delivery bill that's there, are probably things that are probably being done first time in the world of the size and scale that we see today. So I think it's not just about adopting technology, but leapfrogging and seeing what we can adopt, because we have an advantage. We don't have legacy to look at. I think the change management that we're looking at makes it easier today for us to adopt this, though the challenges that we have are many different. There are many questions that can be about our ability to carry this through. You know, we must remember that India, and a lot of people questioned it, how can we go 100% electronic in voting? And I think we should be proud that as the largest democracy, even US does not have 100% voting, which is electronic, and I think we did it. We should also not forget that what we started way back in the 60s, which was the railway reservation project, is probably one of its kind, where technology has helped every citizen today in enabling it to travel. And in a country like ours, with the geographical spread that we have, I think we should be proud of what has been done there. I think the area that we really need to focus, if at all there would be a concern, would be technology is not about automating things. It's really about transforming and ensuring that the processes that we use in the government are changing. And I think over this last 3 to 4 years, the enormous amount of work that's been done to see that the projects that have got implemented are not just automating the current processes, but transforming them so that they become more efficient. And I think these examples exist today of very successful projects that have happened, mostly a very unique new partnership that's come in between the government and the industry. State data centers that have come up, the MCA 21, where today we do not have to file any single paper to the company affairs. In fact, acknowledgements come in, approvals too come. I'm sure that the number of visits that get made to the Ministry of Company Affairs have actually dwindled down many, many fold. We have the Air Force network, the UID project, the passport, the citizen services, and I think there are many, many such things that have happened already as proof points that it can be done, and the 27 mission mode projects, and I'm sure Mr. Satyanarayana will dwell on it. Many of you may not know that as a very unique partnership several years back, an institute got created, the National Institute of Smart Governance, which was a joint venture between NASSCOM, ILFS, and the government. In fact, Mr. Satyanarayana, we are happy that he is today our secretary, was also the chief executive for several years and put it on a track where this organization became a consulting organization for the government. The reason I mention this is that today the work that we do is not going to be done by anyone. We have to all collectively do it. And I think there has to be a very definitive, strong partnership between industry and the government. There are, at times, these questions come up about make or buy, which happens in corporations, it happens in the government, but it is getting clearer that as technology becomes complex, I think the partnership needs to take a very different role. And that means that there is a change in the mindset, both from the industry and the government, of changing and shifting from a vendor-customer relationship to truly a technology partnership, because we got to think ahead of what the challenges would be and how we'll do it. So there are many roles in this whole process. There is about developing concept, design, governance, which clearly is a role that the government will play themselves. And I think we need to ensure that there are enough capabilities within the government to be able to absorb these technologies and products. But on the other hand, issues like implementation, project execution, and subsequent support and maintenance has to be done by the industry. And the question that Mr. Ravi Shankar mentioned, yes, this industry has, over the years, been very effectively servicing the world, but it's good to see that the growth rates today in the domestic sector are actually faster than the exports. And I think that is a proof point that this partnership is working, and the government part of this spend will be extremely high. As we do this, I think it's also to our success, it's important that we leverage the entire ecosystem. And that ecosystem is not only people who provide hardware and large companies who provide services. I think it's important to get involved in these small and medium enterprises where tremendous amount of innovation is happening, new products are coming up. And as we start leveraging the broadband connectivity, internet, and mobile, and particularly mobile, I believe that by the end of this year, India would touch the magic figure of 1 billion subscribers. 40% is already the penetration rate, I believe, is already in the rural areas, whereas the factor in urban areas is almost running at 1.5. I think these platforms would will actually happen that small companies will develop many solutions, very, very innovative ones that would need to be built in. Today, there are discussions going on in DIT, and I'm very happy to say that it's very progressively happening, about how we can include the small companies, service providers to get involved. And just think for a moment, most of our focus is always on these large projects and at ministerial level. But if those 250,000 villages do get connected, just imagine the capacity that's required at those areas, right? People who will deliver, the people who will be the interface between the village folks who need information and technology. There will be people who will be intermediaries. At the same time, there is infrastructure for us to manage. We haven't been able to do that in the past, so it's going to be large opportunity that exists for people to be capitalizing on this, and this capacity is what is needed today. In fact, just day before yesterday, we had huge amount of deliberations on what, how many people at what capacity do we need to be able to service the e-governance. I think there are many technologies besides mobile, social media, analytics, every one of them which have opportunities that we still need to tap and build it into each of our projects. Of course, the fact that we have many states, each of them at times tend to do their own work. Cloud enables us to do common areas, and I think those are other programs that are very important for us to see, that we are not duplicating the effort, and we will design, execute once, and replicate it again and again. I'm also very happy to say that the effort that is going on in other areas, for example, GIS, where GIS tools and solutions will become, and the national GIS plan that's on, would actually enable us to use it across the country for, the fact that the Secretary mentioned earlier about the urban areas. How do we plan out the urban facilities? And we know that digging of roads and so on create major problems in our urban areas. I think the common GIS platform would enable many of these things, both in urban, rural areas, including transport, mining, etc. And as is being still thought of in many countries, if we make this GIS data open, which is what we call as open data platforms, then third parties, private sector should be able to leverage this rather than each time buy it from somewhere else. This is authenticated GIS data that's available. There are barriers, and let's not ignore them. We can talk about what the advantages are. And those are about, as we mentioned, duplication of effort, siloed efforts at times in various departments, standards that need to be open, interoperability between systems, security, and I'll talk about a little bit there, project governance, and strong project management discipline. So building those capacities become very, very important. I would say that when I was looking at the schedule and there was large number of E's there, including e-politics, I would think we should add in these conferences yet another E called e-execution. Right? I think the discussion should shift away from why we need governance and what is governance and what can IT do, because that's established. I think we have seen the advantages. I think the whole focus should shift to what is it that we need to do and execute. And that execution is not easy. There are problems. People have never executed things at this plane. When we go internationally and talk about your project of 250,000 villages and how they're going to get connected, I don't think in very many places at this scale, something of this nature has been ever taken up, right? So I think for all of us, rather than being naysayers and cynics, I think we just need to join hands together and ensure that we collectively help in executing what we have. There are, I would say that as this connection happens, and I think and this is my last point here, there is increased concern. This is the first time that every data that we talk about citizens, what we do, where we are, every part of it is now digitized. And there are concerns that would this be somewhere touching the privacy of people? Would there be unintended consequences of the way governments may or not willfully, but otherwise may land up using this information in a particular manner? These concerns are not unfounded. There are many other countries where this has been there. But the question is, these need to be addressed. The addressal is not by our giving up adoption of technology, but to be coming up with very strong mechanisms, both in terms of practices and acts, in each of the projects that we do. So if you look at the various acts that are there today, and we are reviewing each one of them right now, or what are the privacy principles there, and I think very shortly, and I think let's presume that in the next year, year and a half, India would have a very strong, flexible, but effective Privacy Act, which would take away the concerns that keep coming up in civil societies among people, because the option is not adoption of the technology, the option is only of addressing this particular issue. I would really say that we have a unique opportunity of making India the hub for e-governance innovation. I don't think any other country has this opportunity as we have. And we also have an opportunity of taking this learnings and execution capabilities that we are developing to other strategic countries around the neighborhood, around CIS, Africa, and many other countries who need it. So I would just say on behalf of the industry and commit ourselves to the huge program that we have, and as we said, it can only be done collectively, and the industry is committed to be partnering in this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. As you very rightly mentioned, our focus must now shift to e-execution. May I now invite Ms. Kathleen Wiesen, Country Head, UNDP India, for her address.
Mr. MP Narayan, distinguished members of the dais, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all. It is indeed an honor and privilege to be here with you on this very important occasion and to be part of this inaugural panel of the eWorld Forum on e-governance now and in the future. I think one of the advantages of coming and speaking last is that all the important things that need to be said have already been said. The challenge that remains for the last speaker, of course, is continuing to engage. I think what I'll do is just highlight a few key areas where I think UNDP can give some practical context. And in that regard, one of the overriding frames within which UNDP works is sustainable human development. It's very much at the core of who we are and what we do. And in that context, and I think we'd like to discuss the issue of e-governance and ICT in that context, is the wider canvas of international goals, the Millennium Development Goals, the post-2015 agenda that's being debated next week and continuing, and national goals such as inclusive growth. The second broad area was to look at key areas within e-governance and the impact that the achievement of the national goals that these can have on national goals and global goals as well. And then thirdly, just to highlight a few examples from some of the work that UNDP is engaged in with the Government of India on information communication technologies in the domain of governance and knowledge sharing and knowledge management. So let me start. I would say one of the key objectives of this forum is to discuss how information and communication technologies can be integrated or mainstreamed into development strategies and programs to achieve the Millennium Development Goals. And as we all know, and we read in the papers, in about a week's time, the Rio +20 United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development will be taking place. And they will be taking stock of achievements made after the 1992 Rio Summit, during which the landmark Agenda 21 was agreed to and launched. It was really a blueprint to rethink economic growth, advance social equity, and ensure environmental protection. And it is expected that the Rio conference will set important guideposts for the MDG agenda. It will also have a discussion of sustainable development goals, and most importantly, will sharpen the focus on sustainable development with 3 core pillars: economic development, social development, and environmental protection. For UNDP, we are keen to see an integrated approach to these 3 important goals. Inclusion, which is a key objective of the government's 12th plan and strategy for inclusive growth, can only be achieved in a sustainable manner if all 3 dimensions of development, economic, social, and environmental, are addressed by policies, programs, and partnerships with civil society and the private sector and government, of course. In this context, there's a critical role of information and communication technologies as integrators of these three dimensions of development, and this role cannot be overemphasized. Let me now highlight a few areas in which ICTs can make a tremendous impact on the achievement of development goals. I'll start first with the power of mobile telephony. We've heard already this morning as an extraordinary tool for participation, information sharing, and economic empowerment of persistently excluded and women. And it's a tremendous potential that has yet to be fully exploited and yield its results. It's very interesting that in some parts of the world, Africa and least developed countries, they've made a leap beyond some of the information gains that have been made here in India and have gone directly to mobile telephony. And it's a very interesting domain. India is probably the world's leading technologies on computer information technologies, but yet to fully exploit the mobile telephony. Radio, television, and internet are also playing an important role to enable even faster flow of information. From education to political participation, citizens are able to access information with much greater ease and speed. While there are still problems of access, which are being tackled through a range of government schemes and through entrepreneurial activity, a key new challenge has become the quality and accuracy of information. And this, it seems to me, requires a concerted effort on the side of the government, the private sector, and civil society. That is, generating relevant and fresh data sets on key concerns and development issues, and in checking the validity and accuracy of this data and packaging it in a form that makes it easily accessible to all. This is not easy, and particularly in a diverse country like India, but one task that has to be tackled. Involving communities in the generation and validation of such data is a very promising approach that is greatly enhanced through the application of ICTs and contributes to the sustainability and validity of that data. We are aware of many such initiatives across the world that are making use of crowdsourcing, geographical information systems, GIS, to generate useful information for local planning, disaster risk reduction, emergency response, public information, and the delivery of basic services. In order to achieve the goal of greater inclusion, ICT developers and innovators will need to develop a sound understanding of the needs of the persistently excluded. Solutions, as it has been mentioned already, need to bridge information, language, and knowledge gaps. If ICT could cut across the communications barriers, and it holds that potential, to help identify innovative ways to reach the persistently excluded with information, knowledge, and services, a next wave of democratization would be in the offing. Like the previous speakers, we also see great opportunities in the use of information and communication technology to help increase the efficiency of public administration, assist public service providers in providing better quality and easier access to essential services, and to make decisions and transactions more transparent and comprehensible for citizens. Let me give you just a few examples from some of the lessons we've learned with UNDP. A joint UNDP and Government of India ICT for Development program successfully implemented a range of pilot initiatives experimenting with ICT innovations, ranging from integrated citizen services and rural livelihoods to legal literacy and women's empowerment. The initiatives included community radio, village knowledge centers, and ICT-enabled agricultural services, among others. Our project evaluation for the initiatives that focused on e-governance has underscored the value of mobile technologies, their reach to remote areas, the ease of access, and the fact that they offer both voice and text communication make mobile technology extremely useful in the dissemination of information, for feedback mechanisms, and for tracking of service requests. The project initiative Dristi in West Bengal piloted the computerization of the fund management and accounting systems in PRIs. It also included a public information system based on text messaging which enabled PRI functionaries and villagers to monitor schemes and request up-to-date information on livelihood and pension schemes through their mobile phones. Some of the distinguished speakers on the dais have themselves been part of these initiatives and have since put tremendous effort and resources in supporting governance through the schemes they have designed and initiated. We commend the government of India for their focus on innovation, for leveraging the potential of ICTs, for dedicating impressive resources to infrastructure expansion and innovation, and for schemes using ICTs as well as special initiatives, as have been mentioned, such as the e-Panchayat. We have found that ICTs can have a great impact across all practice areas that UNDP works in. And for example, in our Access to Justice program, helplines have been set up to provide legal assistance to marginalized communities. Callers approach the helpline staff with their own cases of abuse, domestic violence, or even conflicts among neighbors. They are put in touch with service providers and centers that offer further assistance. At times, the immediate need is to have a person and a voice to talk to receive information about rights and entitlements, and direct them on the course of action. Communities are most engaged when the interface is based on regional and local languages and combines a number of services in an integrated portal. It simplifies it for the end user. Our experience shows that dedicated capacity building efforts need to accompany technology deployment, and the awareness of the citizens needs to be raised through proper communication strategy. In essence, ICT should not be an add-on to programs and schemes. They need to become an integral part of our planning, our programming process, to unfold their full potential, which is yet to be tapped. At the United Nations, we are very proud to have been one of our knowledge-sharing initiatives nominated amongst those for the eWorld 2012 awards in the localized application content category. The UN Solutions Exchange is a knowledge-sharing platform and interface that brings together some 30,000 development experts and practitioners within India. Originally, it started in 2005 in India, and now Solutions Exchange networks exist, and the model developed in India has been exported to 5 countries in the region, including Bhutan, Bangladesh, Philippines, and even beyond, Russia and the Pacific region. To date, there are some 50,000 members across 19 thematic communities covering all Millennium Development Goals. And these communities of practice have been able to tap a vast knowledge base of development practitioners who are storehouses of knowledge, development experience, and solutions, and have linked these effectively to policymakers and government. Tapping into the United Nations convening role and its impartiality, it opens a channel for government policymakers and program managers to seek insight and experience from concerned professionals, elected representatives, researchers, activists, consultants, donor organizations, NGOs, international agencies, to mention a few. When we were asked to provide development solutions, we are able to activate a network of development practitioners and experts within a very short time frame. ICT has made Solutions Exchange highly cost-effective and enabled us to reach beyond national boundaries and sectoral divides. Every individual's knowledge adds a new dimension and offers a fresh perspective on development challenges. Instead of reinventing the wheel, members can analyze, adapt, and apply solutions that are built on the lessons learned by others. If I would just maybe highlight a few others. In the past, we relied on experts and consultants to help us find answers to development challenges. It is thanks to the use of ICTs we can now generate fast and well-grounded information and feedback using a low-tech email format. Solutions Exchange regularly contributes to policy making by facilitating a discussion through which development practitioners and experts can provide policy recommendations. And so far it has done so in the context of the approach to the 12th five-year plan across several thematic areas. Apart from enhancing the quality of exchange and knowledge sharing, IT can also be used as an enabler for inclusion. Building on our network with civil society, UNDP facilitated a wide consultative process that brought voices from excluded groups to the heart of national development planning in India, with in-depth inputs provided by almost 850 marginalized groups to the approach paper on India's next 5-year roadmap. I think coinciding with the Government of India's planning cycle, UNDP will be beginning its next country program in 2013. And we have set ourselves the goal of integrating ICTs across all our areas, all our programmatic work, and innovations for a more transparent, effective, and efficient service delivery, as well as better access to rights and entitlements, will be addressed in close partnership with our government partners. At UNDP, we see ICT as a means to enhance human development. And as Mr. Mittal has highlighted earlier, ICTs have the potential to transform the way we interact with each other, with governments, with public institutions, with civil society, with the private sector, through a range of creative and deeply grounded networks. There is a tremendous potential to empower those who are persistently excluded and to give voice to many who have not had one before. I wish you very successful deliberations over the next few days and look forward to hearing about the outcomes for e-governance solutions that this forum may propose, and UNDP stands ready to support you in taking forward these initiatives. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for highlighting the key areas where ICT can help in achieving the Millennium Development Goals and UNDP's initiatives in this regard. It is my honor to now welcome Shri J. Satyanarayana, Secretary, Department of Electronics and IT, Ministry of Communications and IT, Government of India. On the dais, please, sir, for your keynote address.
Distinguished dignitaries on the dais, ladies and gentlemen, I think over the last 1 decade, a lot of things have changed, but one thing that remained constant is Ravi Gupta and his conferences and seminars, and it goes on. Really, it's good that, we keep meeting and brainstorming, discussing various new ideas, not all of which may get translated to ground reality, but even a percentage of that gets translated, get executed, as our friend Mr. Mittal has mentioned.